Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and today I have a very fun episode, another fun episode with my sisters. Hanging out with my sisters here today. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing?
Hi.
Good.
Hello.
I have Alison, Robyn, and Sarah here, and I'm just excited to kind of dive in a little bit more into their story, to why they love the sisterhood, to what they're dreaming about, and all of the things. So let's get into it. Can you tell me a bit about you and how long you've been a part of the sisterhood? I can go in a line, I feel like, because you guys are all lined up. But Sarah, do you want to start?
Sure.
Give it to me.
So I am a sisterhood newbie. I've only been a part of the sisterhood for probably about a month. But I had met Jess a while ago and loved her energy. And I just thought, yeah, you know what? It's time for me to join because I thought about it for a little while before I did. So I'm super happy to be part of it now. So I am Sarah, like Jess said, and gosh, where do I even begin? I am a teacher and a content creator and a aesthetics business owner, which is the newest thing. So I'm kind of all over the place.
I feel like that's the most beautiful thing, though. I was like, she's going to say it, right? She has a business, right? Come on, girl, spit it out. But yes, she's a business owner, fashionista, all of the things. So many beautiful things about Sarah. But yes, I'm so glad you're here and so glad you're finally a part of the sisterhood.
Thank you.
Robyn, how about you? Give it to me, girl.
Gee, sisterhood, probably close to a year coming up.
Close to, yeah.
Yeah, close to a year. Kind of stumbled across you through Boss Talk. Was it Boss Talk? Boss Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you found on the Coast events page. Then you were like, hey,
random. Yeah. And then when I got there, and then you talked about you, and I was like, and I was just kick starting my business. So it just seemed to make sense to get in a group of other amazing women with similar backgrounds or whatnot. But yeah, so that's that.
Tell us about you. What do you do?
Yeah, so I wear many hats. I have the corporate job Monday to Friday by day. But like I said, about a year ago, I started a business. So I do sound healing, meditation, intuition coaching, etc., etc., etc. Mom of 4, stepmom, mom of 4. Yeah.
Now new puppy mom Sarah too. Both the puppies in the house.
Yeah, puppies.
And also, I guess we should say where you're from because both of your businesses are local. So local to Halifax, Nova Scotia. So if anyone wants to hook you guys up, they know where to find you here.
That's right.
In Halifax, what up? And then we have Alison, who's not in Halifax. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. So I have been apart for, I guess, 6 or 7 months now. I joined at the beginning of the summer, I think, although it seems like longer than that.
I know, but it's and it also feels like the summer was yesterday. So, true. Yeah.
And so I'm Alison. I am from Newfoundland and Labrador in the far, far east coast of Atlantic Canada, for anyone who might be listening and not as familiar. And I have been a business owner, well, for many years, but in this full-time business ownership role for about 5 years now. And I am a burnout prevention specialist, and I do a lot of corporate training around mental health and mental well-being and just what does it look like to feel like good versions of ourselves at work. And I'm a mom of 2 as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, I love it. And we were chatting too right before we hit record about how all of these beautiful mamas who are on here today, which I've been surrounding myself with moms lately, so I'm so glad we're having this chat. But they're all like in the school age of motherhood, and I'm just like there's gonna be a potato coming here soon. Like, so watching you and getting a chance to talk to you all tonight, although this podcast is not about being a mom, it's just still nice to be able to surround myself with positive influences of motherhood and moms who entrepreneurs. I've noticed more as really just a focus of leaning into the community of mom entrepreneurs. So I'm so glad you guys are here. I really love to dive into looking backwards a little bit into who you were at 18-year-old self, or even you could pick any age. You could pick any age if you want, but typically I like to think about like back to 18-year-old me and the piece of advice that I would give her. Do you have something that you would say to your 18-year-old self, or really any age? You can specify and choose the age, but like what would you tell a past version of you? Like based on the life experience that you've had now. Sarah, you want to go first?
Sure. So 18 through right up until maybe 30-year-old me could have really used the advice to worry less and play more.
Ooh, yeah.
I was very, very, especially in high school, very, very serious. Everything I had to, well, and perfectionist, like to the millionth degree. So I spent much of high school working really, really hard and not having any fun at all, which is, I know, kind of the opposite of what a lot of people do. Um, and that continued into my 20s. So I kind of hit 30 and was like, oh, maybe I need to go have some fun now. And then I kind of started to let loose a little bit, but yeah, it was a stressful time.
I could totally see you being that like type A, like the
Yes.
perfect grades, all of the things going through
Yeah.
school.
Oh yeah, I was the girl that was like 98%. Well, that's not good enough. What happened to the other two?
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
What do you
was
do
it
now
was
for
hard.
fun?
Oh, well, like you mentioned, fashionista thing. I have a bit of an online shopping. I mean, I would have I would have called it an addiction about a year ago, but I'm, toning it down and realizing that I really don't need any more clothing. But I do really enjoy like putting outfits together and helping other people decide what maybe they would like to wear. I also really like to dance. I am taking an adult ballet class right now, which is super fun. And hanging out with my kids, which it's funny, we were talking about mom guilt. Well, after both of you mentioned your children, I was like, oh no, I didn't even say that I also have two kids. So yes, I have two kids as well.
No judgment, you're good. Don't worry. They're not listening to this anyway.
Ew. Yeah.
And a new puppy, like fresh, brand
And
new
a new
puppy.
puppy. Yeah. Yeah. She's sitting right here beside me. And I was thinking, oh, let's just pray that she can get through the next 40 minutes without chewing anything or pooping on the couch or all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I remember those puppy days.
Yeah,
You
it's a
got
lot.
this. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. Thanks, Sarah. What about you, Robyn? What would you tell a prior version of yourself?
Um, I think to me, it's don't think about if it's not going to work, like worrying about the failure, but more reflecting on what if it does work. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I think we go into something sometimes, and that's where our brain goes. Like we think, oh, it's going to fail. I'm going to be judged. They worry about all that stuff. But if you flip the coin and start thinking about, but what if it does work? What if it does turn into something? Kind of like that change of mindset, right?
When did you find that changed for you?
Um, in my 40s.
You're like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you find that with business too? Like, especially going into a new business, only being a year old, like, would you have done it sooner had you had a different mindset?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think the timing happened because the timing happened the way it did.
Mm.
That 100% because there was a lot of things that led up to this, that what I discovered. But I think being more creative and being more adventurous and just trying the things that I was like that when I was younger and it went kind of dormant for a bit. And it
Mm.
wasn't until recently that I started discovering my creative side coming out again, which makes me just really happy. Tickles my brain.
Yeah, it's like Sarah with that play too, like that playfulness that we forget.
Hmm.
That's why I'm also excited to have a baby in the sense where it's like I hope they bring that playfulness again.
Mm. And
Yeah,
they do, kids
and they
do.
do.
Yeah, that's like a fun thing with business too. I know Robyn having sound healing and sound therapy, it's like that's such a cool piece of like being able to play with those instruments, the bowls and the chimes and everything. Like you get to play in every session that you have. So I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and then I also get to tell my clients that too. And I get to
Mhm.
share that with them just to be open, just to be open to something different. You can believe whatever you want to believe, if it's the woo woo or not, right? But to be able to be open minded to something and the possibilities.
Yeah, I love a
Have fun
little
with it.
woo. Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Robyn. What about you, Allison? What would you want to tell a prior version of yourself?
I've actually been sitting here thinking about it, and I was like a little whoa by my own thought, so I wrote it down. Because I'm sure there's many things, but this is what's coming to me right now. It's safe to be who you are.
Yeah.
And I think a younger version of myself was cautious. And I could relate a lot to what Sarah said, maybe not to that full extent, but I was very serious when I was younger, and I think only now that I'm in my 40s and spend more time reflecting back, I think I thought I was very like me and creative and individual, but I really wasn't. I was really doing a lot of things that were just because that's what everyone else was doing.
Mm.
And I'm sure there's a million, reasons that I could unpack for why that is. Um, but yeah, as I've gotten older, I've really embraced who I am. And it has been very helpful, I guess, to me in my career and now as a business owner because people find me, at least they tell me this, that they find me very relatable. So, like when I go in workplaces and I talk about mental health, I talk about my own experiences openly and honestly. Like, I have real talk, real conversations with people, and it's because I feel safe and secure in who I am.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's been a big one that I've stepped into as I've gotten older. Like, this is me, this is how I am. I'm just gonna share this with you unapologetically, and people really resonate with that.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And even just like knowing an 18-year-old version of me, a 14-year-old version of me, like she did not feel that strongly in being herself. So to have that advice go back, I know sometimes it could be easier said than done, but also just like that reminder, like the world needs you. You. Like not anybody else, so be you.
Yeah, and just not doing things just because it's what other people think you should do. I have this example that I always talk about. I've always been very creative and, and like loved art, but in high school, I didn't take art class. It was available to me. People did it, but it like wasn't what my group was doing.
Mhm.
And so like I don't know why. Why didn't like 16 or 17-year-old Allison do art class? Like that's what I would have gotten the most joy from. And like that's the kind of stuff I try to share with my kids too. All my friends were taking, like, I love all my friends. My friends were all taking like AP biology and like AP English and stuff. And I'm like, I tried that. Why was I in AP biology? I had no interest in science. I didn't do science in university and I dropped out of the course, but like I did it because that's what my friends were doing. Like it's just so interesting to reflect back. But that high school art class like still gets me. Now I take art classes as an adult. Like I still do all of those things, but it's like, yeah, that's one. I think about it all the time.
Art would be way more fun than biology.
AP biology, like it's like a university level.
Gross.
What? Full respect to everybody who loves the sciences. It's just
You
not for me.
go science peeps, but I'm going with the art too. I remember we had a call once too in the sisterhood. I think it was one of our goal setting calls, and you talked about wanting to get back into painting and that being something for you, like that art piece that like brings you joy. So I love that you could have done that even just as a younger version of yourself too. So I see you, sis. I see you, my friend. I hope you are loving this episode with our sisterhood chat. We have created such an incredible community over there in the Selfish Sisterhood, a place where you can come and be yourself and dream big and create goals and just start to live the life that you've been envisioning for yourself. What's really wonderful about this space is the women who are there. And you can hear it in this podcast episode of just how incredible these women are, the dreams that they have, the lives they want to live, and what they're building. And we do it together in this space. Every week we have a different call, whether that's a goal setting call or a sisterhood chat, similar to something like this podcast episode. We also do biz chats to talk about business ideas and things that are on your heart. We have monthly workshops, either hosted by myself or other professionals that I have come into the community to be able to teach you something totally different. And this month, we're doing our annual vision board workshop where I'll teach you the process that I take in order to create my vision board and help you to process some things for yourself in order to reflect on the year you just had, where you're going, and what you want to put on your board, which I'm so excited for. That's happening on January 14th at 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. And not to give away any spoilers, but I already have an amazing workshop lined up for February all about self-love and for March about managing your time management with confidence. So if you're looking for a space to fully accept yourself, to step into a season and a year of confidence for you, the Selfish Sisterhood is the place to be. You can join right now for 3 months for $149. You can also get a monthly membership for $57 a month if that's something that interests you, to just do month to month. And doors are closing for a while. I cannot put an exact date on it. Obviously, you know, I'm going to have a baby this month in January, and the Sisterhood is going to keep running. We have amazing people who are going to be helping me through creating this beautiful space for you. But the doors will not be opening again until I have recovered, until I'm feeling better. And so it's going to be a bit of a time. So if you've been thinking about it and you're like, I really want to join the Selfish Sisterhood, oh, maybe next month. There is no next month right now. This is the last chance for you to get in for until the foreseeable future. Spring at least. So if that's something that you've been thinking about, now is the time. I'll put all the information in the show notes for you, but I'm just so excited, one, for you to continue this episode, to hear everything that's coming from these incredible sisters, and to just get a taste of what this community is all about. So I love you so much. Check out the show notes, get the link, join the sisterhood. I can't wait to see you in there. I love this next question is one of my faves because I am a big dreamer. I love to dream about the future, about tomorrow, about all of the things. And this question is, if you had $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on? And I'm always curious. What are your dreams? What would you do with $10 million, Sarah?
Oh, I'm like you. I have
Shopping.
thought about, well, actually, you might be surprised. That probably wouldn't be the first thing. I would see the world, and maybe I would shop in different exotic
Yeah.
locales. Yeah. And, I do still have the little practical side that is like, oh, well, and also I'd pay off my debts and, whoa, I'd build a fabulous closet, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a great closet for all the pretty things. So I would build a closet, but see the world would be my main, like I would book a trip immediately.
Where are we going?
Oh, that's a hard one. I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Never been there. My cousin lived there when he was younger, and I remember being probably about 10, and he brought the pictures to Christmas dinner or something one year, and I just was in awe. And ever since then, I've really wanted to go to Australia.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's a great spot. We could all go together. That could be a good time.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Anywhere else that you have next on the list after that?
Um, Japan would be
Oh,
cool. Norway, Iceland, basically anywhere, everywhere, all the places.
if you got 10 million, you could go
Well, yeah,
anywhere.
I
Yeah.
could go, I could do a whole world tour.
Yeah, just quit your job and like just start
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's go. I can't wait.
I'm in.
Robyn, what about you?
I like the travel idea. That wasn't what I initially planned to say, but that does sound more tempting. Yeah. To be honest, I want to just buy a massive piece of land and just subdivide it so the kids had, if it's not their everyday home, even if it was their getaway, I just love that solitude to be able to go somewhere that is your little piece of heaven. I'd love to just be off the grid. And so I would love to just be able to, my introverted self likes the idea of just living big gardens, just enjoying that. And then, as I said, giving the kids that solitude too that they can go to if they needed it.
Would you have like animals? Are you a chicken girl?
Oh, I would totally be a farmer.
I can see that.
I would totally be that. Yeah. Like that would be ultimate. I don't know if my husband would agree
Hmm.
with that. He'd be like, what? He likes probably the idea of building a house and that dream home and subdividing for the kids. Like he thinks that's great for their futures and stuff. Like he'd be all on board. And then I'd be like, but we're going to get goats and we're going to get chickens and
Yeah.
horses and do all the things. And I would love just to have a garden because I love to cook and just fresh fruit and vegetables, like whatever. Yeah. I would bask in all that. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's the dream for me too. A big piece of land in the middle of nowhere. No one can find you. You could be naked like all the time and like nobody would know, and it
Yep.
would be the best.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. So when you do win 10 million and you get that piece of land, because you're not that far from me, Robyn, like we could
Yeah.
make this work. We could be in
We
this
could,
together.
yeah, make our own
So
little world. Yeah.
yeah, I could help with the animals. You won't want me to help with the garden though. But that sounds, yeah, that's a good dream.
Yeah.
Would the
No.
piece of land be where you live now? Like close to?
Uh, Probably because I'd still want to be within distance of the ocean because that is my happy place. So ideally land near the ocean, which I know is nearly impossible to find. We've looked, trust me. But yeah, I
Well,
wouldn't
for
mind where we're
10
at.
million,
I could be convincing to somebody to sell. You're right. Yeah.
100% could be worth
Mhm.
it. So,
Could be totally worth it. But yeah, definitely I would still stay in Nova Scotia for sure.
yeah, I see you. Same, same. What about you, Allison?
Whew. It's kind of like a combo plus something else. So I'm a huge traveler. I love to experience new places. So I think if I had the money tomorrow and I needed to like spend some of it right away, I would get on a plane. Absolutely. A whole bunch of Sarah's are on mine, plus like all kinds of other ones. So I would definitely travel. I also want to have a piece of property by the ocean, but I would probably put a really luxurious tiny home on it. Um, just like some little I don't even know, but yeah. So I want like some space in the woods by the ocean, like trees and woods and ocean. But the other piece that I always think about having money and it's always on my heart is like having money to create real change in some kind of capacity. So whether that be like starting a nonprofit or like starting some kind of charitable initiative. And I think about this all the time, but it's like it's one of those like if I win the lottery things. So I can't tell you exactly what it would look like right now because it has changed over the years. And I think I would keep working, like keep running my business. It might look a bit different, but you know, my business comes from a place of like soul, you know, heart and soul. So it's not like, oh, I can't wait to get out of that thing. Like I would definitely keep doing my work. But yeah, maybe more ways to give back in all the communities that I work in because I do a lot of work in Nova Scotia as well, and I'm there a lot. Yeah, so like figuring out a way to not just give the money away, but create something that like has sustainability and long lasting would be really cool.
Oh, yeah. In the mental health field?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, we'll see. When you win big, we'll
That's
see.
right. Yeah. I would
It's
need to
not
give
an
it some more
if,
thought. Yeah.
it's a when.
When
I
I
like
do.
I always like that. It's like it's always a when. It's not an if, it's a when. and then we can dream big with that. So I love that. That's a great way to think about it too, of like how can I make more impact. I always think too, like good people do good things with money. Like more good people need to have an abundance of money for the sake of like the world. I think it'd be a better place if we all had, the means to do so. Because I know we'd all do wonderful things for others, where
Mm-hmm.
that's not always the case for a lot of our, wealthy people in the world. So I love that. That's awesome, Allison.
Thanks.
If you could be remembered for one thing, I know people have a hard time with this question too, because I think we often forget that we are awesome and we often lean towards being modest. But like if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be? Like, do you know what it would be, Sarah?
Um, a lot of what Allison just said really resonated with me. So I love the idea of being remembered for making a difference of some kind, and whether it's a big difference to a lot of people or, small differences daily, like, oh, she made me feel good when I talked to her.
Mm.
If I can even do that, then that is good enough for me.
Well, you already do that, just so you
Oh,
know.
oh, thank you.
So you'll be remembered for that for sure. But
You're
I
gonna make me
do,
cry.
please do. I love a good cry.
Oh, jeez. Don't tell me that. It'll be waterworks for the rest of the interview here.
But I totally see that too. Just like that remembrance of like, yeah, she made me feel really good. That's a
Mm,
nice thing to be remembered for.
mm.
And again, it doesn't have to be big impact, but the little things make a big difference too. And I bet your students would say that about you too.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I love that. What about you, Robyn? What do you want to be remembered
Kind,
for, my friend?
kind.
Kindness. Mm.
Yeah. I think that was something that's always resonated with me, even like growing up in years. Like this was something that, especially now where I have a household of preteen teenagers, and something I always try to instill in them is just about being kind. At the end of the day, you do not have to get along with everybody, but you can be kind. You can control that. And myself, I know growing up, that was a big deal to me, is to be just kind of be friendly with everybody. Like you didn't have to be friends with everybody, but you were nice. Like you didn't shove people off. I think we can, unfortunately, we're all guilty of it, of getting mixed up in moments where you're not kind. And I've been
Mhm.
guilty of that. So, and I never feel good about it. Right. So it's something that I hope that I could be remembered as kind.
Yes, I'll always remember you as kind. You can just feel it when you're around you. It's just like a warmth and a hug and a love, that a kindness that you do have, Robyn. So I see you. Yeah, hearts for you, hearts, my friend. And so nice to hear like too about that focus of like kindness for children, like kindness, like teaching your kids that too, because I like to hope our next generation is going to be kind and loving. I don't know. Obviously, I am in a bubble most of the time, but I love the hope of a future of kindness. So I love that you're
Yeah.
doing that with your kids too. What about you, Allison? What do you want to be remembered for?
Before I say that, I just wanted to say that was really beautiful, Robyn. And yeah, I think there needs to be more, and we need to keep encouraging and talking about kindness. I think, like in my line of work, I see people that are really stressed, and it's like the more stressed people are, the more unkind people
Mm.
are. Um, and yeah, I have so much I could say about that. That would be like a whole other podcast episode, but that really spoke to me, Robyn. Um, I really want to be remembered for, and this might sound really like a big thing, but helping people make positive changes in their lives, and helping people feel like good versions of themselves. Having gone through lots of times where I didn't feel like a good version of myself, and really working on that, it's like a huge piece of the work that I do now to inspire others and like talk about my struggles openly and the change openly, so that people can hopefully create some of that change in their own lives, which leads to like less stress, more kindness, like all of these things have this like trickle effect, like more time to spend with their families, more love, more, um, yeah. So that's what I want to be remembered for, like helping people create real positive change in their lives because we only get one.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are already doing that too, like in the work that you do every single day. So like it's
I
so
do.
beautiful to see that.
Yeah, I
And to
do.
know that you will be remembered for that for sure.
Yeah, thanks. And it's always so impactful when people like, because I don't always see it, but then like, the occasional person will tell me like, oh, you know, this like changed so much for me. And like, that's huge. So yeah, just gotta keep doing that.
Keep doing it, keep showing up, keep doing the things. And I think like sometimes I need to write these things down in like my notes section if someone says something that reminds you of that, because it's like on the hard days we don't always see it, but like you're being remembered for that now and everything that you do and all the work that you put out there. And we just need to remember that so that we keep showing up with that love and that kindness, because yeah, you're making an impact, all of you. And I think that's just, I don't know, so cool to be able to hang out with you guys tonight and to see what it is that you'd want to be remembered for. Knowing that it's something you're already doing, I'm like, heck yeah. Yeah, I love it. So, one more thing for you before we kind of wrap this episode up. What do you love about the Selfish Sisterhood? Is there something in particular you love about this community? Sarah, you want to give it to us?
Sure. So again, I'm a fairly new member, but already I have had some really great conversations with other sisters. Like right now, this is my favorite part of this sisterhood, having actual meaningful conversations, because I'm a little bit of an introvert myself, so I'm not into the surface level. I want to get right in there and know everything about people. So I've really enjoyed this. Thank you.
I attract a lot of introverts. Uh, if you haven't noticed, like at Speak
Yeah.
Up and even just like in the sisterhood, and I think it's just because create spaces where people feel safe to come and be themselves. Because I am also an introvert, which nobody ever believes me when I say, but it's the truth. So yeah, it's a place where you can come and you can just chat and be an introvert and not be wearing a bra and maybe wearing a robe and do a podcast episode, and that'd be totally okay. So I'm so glad that you're here, Sarah.
Thank you.
What about you, Robyn? What do you love?
Uh, and this is just more speaking from experience, but the one thing I noticed, because kind of getting into it, I think the reasons why I got into the sisterhood were different than what ended up happening.
Mm.
So for me, it was like, I'm 42, making friends at my age, extremely difficult because everyone's kind of in their own band, doing their thing. I found with this particular group, it was really easy to approach and talk and connect. And because of that, you made friendships. Like it was really easy, like getting together with someone that was like, hey, we should go out for coffee. And we did. Like it's that type of connection, which is really nice. And just because I think sadly you may have a few friends or whatnot, but if you're like me, that's kind of introverted, I have some social groups I hang out with, but not people that I can discuss like my business with or some of the challenges I'm having. And so I think that's, yeah, definitely what I love the most about it.
Yeah, and being local, you have a little bit of an advantage, Sarah and
We
Robyn, too,
do.
where we have some
Yeah.
of those in-person things a bit more. Allison, well, you are sometimes you're local, sometimes you're around.
I am.
So it is nice to be able to have those opportunities where we span over 5 time zones. Not everybody can hop on a plane and like come and hang out with us. But being local does have a little bit of an advantage where you can kind of like come to, our Christmas jammy bowling night. Robyn was like, is anybody else here? Because I feel a little crazy in my pajamas in the bowling alley. But we do crazy things and we get out and it's just fun. So I'm so glad you're here and that you found us through a really interesting way.
Way. Yeah.
I
Right
love it.
on. Right on.
What about you, Allison?
That just reminded me that I need to write you later and tell you when my next trip to Nova Scotia is because there's one in the books
Yes.
now. Um,
Yes.
so I joined the Sisterhood for a couple of reasons, actually. One is that I try to be a part of communities. I find that business ownership, especially me, I'm just me. Like I don't have a staff team. So I find it very lonely, and I just want to be building meaningful connections with other women. And I'm a part of a lot of things locally, but a lot of like networking events and things that you go to, it's just very surface level, and it doesn't have that, I don't know, like grit or like, I don't know, meat to it. So I was really wanting deeper, more meaningful connections. So this felt like a really good fit for me. And just like the variety of learning, connection, meeting new people. I really resonate with that too, Robyn. Like I have a group of friends that I've had for a long time, but we're at like different parenting stages. People are living all over the world. It's hard to get together. So just like the more groups I can kind of immerse myself in, helps me feel supported on my journey, like both as a business owner and then just as like a human that wants to be connected to other humans, you know?
Yeah, I see you. And would you call yourself an introvert or an extrovert, Allison?
I always call myself an extroverted introvert, but
Mm,
I am an introvert, and also people don't believe me because they only see stage Allison or the
yeah.
person who's up in front of them training them all day, and that's me. But then, and I love it, and I love engaging with people. I love talking to people, but then I need to like sit in a quiet room for 3 days after.
Yeah, hide away for a little bit. I see
Doesn't
you.
happen. It doesn't happen because then I come home. But like in an ideal world, that's kind of how I am. So I recharge by being alone, which a lot of people don't they just think introvert is like quiet person.
Yeah. See, I'm
Yeah.
the same way. Yeah, I can be out there. We all can. We've all been there, right? But it's nice to have that like recharge in space, and I really love being alone. So I see you. I see you, my friend. And I'm so glad that you decided to join and to surround yourself with a different community. Even though we're a little further away, not at heart, we're so close. So,
Yeah, and there's lots of people who are living in all different places, and actually
mhm.
some of the people that I have connected with in the sisterhood are in like other geographical areas, and like it's been great. And I've also had the opportunity to attend Speak Up and like your in-person event, and then I got to meet a whole bunch of other people like Robyn in real life. So
Yes, I was thinking that too about like that sisterhood lunch that we had, and we just had to keep pulling chairs up and keep like bringing, and people came from all over to come to the sisterhood lunch with us, and that was just like the most magical thing to be in person together and to get to talk about anything, deep things, or the color of your poop, like whatever you wanted to talk about, we are going to talk about it in the sisterhood. Sometimes we're surface level with like, hey, what's your favorite color? And then other days we're like, hey, did you poop today? And how did that go?
it was the color of your underwear was what was our discussion, in case you don't remember.
Oh, it was. I thought you were saying that was the color of my poop was the color of my
No,
underwear. And I was like,
no,
how did you know my underwear is brown today?
no. That was the discussion at the lunch.
Yes. Yeah. Thankfully, there wasn't anyone sitting around us because they definitely would have thought we were crazy. But yes, we were talking about what color your underpants were. That's so funny. Oh, I love it. Thank you, sister, so much for hanging out with me and for recording this episode. I would love to be able to spread your word and your message and your businesses with the world too. So, can you tell our listeners where they can connect with you online? And of course, this information will be in the show notes too. But Sarah, like, where can we find you?
So I am on Instagram a lot. I have two platforms, actually, one for my business and one for my sort of my personal style thing. So that one is Starry Sky underscore style. And my business is Starry Sky dot aesthetics.
Perfect. And if someone wanted to come see you in person, they're listening to this and they are in Nova Scotia, where is your business located?
Upper Tantallon.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. What about you, Robyn? Where you at?
I'm on Instagram. I find Instagram works for me. So that's at Vibration Elevated Retreats. And I work at multiple locations. So I'm local through some yoga studios, one in Tantallon and one in Bedford. But lots coming in 2025, some good changes. So stay
So
tuned.
exciting. I can't wait. So exciting. And also for those of you who are listening and you're either coming to the 2025 retreat or you're thinking about coming, Robyn is going to be the one who's doing our sound bath. And I've been to her sound baths. She's incredible. So I'm so excited that she'll be a part of this retreat too. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. And you're in Halifax as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Alison, where can we find you, my friend?
I also love Instagram, and I feel like a lot of your people, Jess, are on Instagram, so we'll go with that one. I am at Alison Butler NL, and it's one L in Alison, so that's what you got to use in the search. And you can check me out on my website too, alisonbutler.ca. So that's where I hang.
Amazing. And I will put all that in the show notes. So if you're listening to this and you're driving and you're just like, I don't know where to do, I can't type that in right now. Don't worry. I got you. Just go into the show notes, click their links and connect with them. Send them a message because I know that it makes a big difference when you do something like this to also know that you're heard and you're loved and that people are like, oh, I connected so much with when you said this. So I know that they would love a DM from you. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Send them a message. So thank you all for being here and for hanging out with us tonight and recording this episode. I'm just so grateful that you're part of the sisterhood and that you're part of this community because you're what makes this space so much better. So I'm thankful for you. I love you.
Thanks. That was really fun.
Bye.
What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.